Ahrndt. I'm working on Unit 2 right now, and here's some examples. So I'm going to show you those examples later. So we're going to take a statue, maybe something that you have at home, like I have this rooster, this little guy here, okay? It's like a Chinese lion. Okay, notice that I could turn him around and kind of give him different directions as to how to draw him, or maybe even a close-up of his face. Okay, or even this skull head kind of has a Day of the Dead kind of look to it. So whatever you have around the house, I'm looking around my house, not seeing anything else that I can show you. 3 is plenty. But I'm dressed with a hat because it was hat day on Monday. I'm dressed with a kind of mismatched shirt and a scarf because it's mismatch day, so we're celebrating Spirit Week. So Unit 2, you're drawing a statue and you're doing it based on a grid. This one here is made out of chalk. It's also a dragon. They put a red kind of Japanese flag behind it because it added more sense of space to it. So think about that when you are finished with your statue, what kind of background it's going to have, right? Maybe it has zero background, but a background will enhance it. Maybe it has a culture theme to it, or maybe just a simple round red circle makes the statue pop. This one here is my example, and I'm going to kind of just turn this so you can see the other example. Okay, so it could be human or it could be animal, okay? Notice that it has red lines through it, so if you find a photograph of what you want to draw, you can actually pencil lines on top of it. Or, this is, by the way, a statue of 2 wolves. Or you can use your iPad. So if you open up a picture in Photos, so take a photo of any statue on the website, open up that picture, hit the Edit button. I believe it's 3 dots, that's Edit. And then it looks like this, right? So it's a symbol of like a frame. That's called cropping. And you hold the screen and then you do a snapshot of it because it will show you a 3x3 grid. Very similar to this 3x3 grid, but it's on your iPad or you pencil it. Okay, so I'm going to move this. Oh, wait a minute, I can't move it. Let me pause. Okay, so now I have Schoology open, and this is Foundations 2. So scrolling down to Unit 2, blue. I'll turn that folder into red because red means now. And I'm going to go to this PowerPoint. You guys can access this PowerPoint anytime you want. And the title of it is called Grid Drawing. So it's grid drawing through the years, right? So even back in the cave paintings. So cave paintings, oh, let me escape. Okay, I think I gotta open it in this box. Sorry. Let me open that up. Okay, here we go. So cave paintings, even the cave paintings, when artists painted these 10,000 years ago, they used the curvature of the rocks. So if this bison here, he has a big belly, that probably juts out because there's a rock there, a rock formation that also forms the belly. So that was kind of a natural grid that was happening at the time. The Egyptians, they loved gridding. Grid lines are used to plan out the human body. They were used as a whole wall gridding, so the composition was well balanced. So here's an example of the design that they used to grid, very intricate design. This is why the Egyptian body designs were very similar. So the pharaohs that were depicted you can identify the pharaohs in the picture, so it wasn't like the pharaoh was depicted in different ways. It's kind of like if you open up Calvin and Hobbes or Mickey Mouse cartoon, Mickey doesn't change. This one here, Art of Japan. So there's something called rule of thirds. Now, rule of thirds, if I was to split this into 3 parts, something at the bottom is interesting. His head is in the middle, and then the sun and the village is at the top. So a good composition requires thirds in the picture. If you ever take photography class, you learn that too. Diego Rivera. So Diego Rivera, he was well known for his murals. He was also known as Frida Kahlo's husband. Although they were only married for 5 years, they remained friends for many years because they were both artists. So what he would do is he would take a picture and he would put it on the grid and manipulate it in each square. Some of you are looking at this lion here, if I make this bigger, and think, hey, I could do something like that, right? Yes, you can. Human or animal. Now I can't get it back to normal. Let me just tweak it just a little bit more. Okay. Oh my. Alrighty. So the next one here, Mora Diego Rivera. Here's Frida Kahlo because she was in a wheelchair towards the end of her life. And Diego, and he's painting a mural that you would find in Mexico. A lot of his murals are in Mexico. This is another mural that's at the National Museum in Mexico City. So he's very well known for his people. He's very well known for his landscapes. He had to grid the wall in order to enlarge a small picture, right? When you're doing a mural for someone, like let's say I used to do set design and I used to design murals for theater. I would always show the director a small picture and then I would enlarge it. Chuck Close. So Chuck Close, he is an American artist. He does things very large too. It's paintings. He does paintings with airbrush. He does paintings that are pixely now. So these black and white paintings were from the 70s, 80s. And then when computers came out in the 90s and the 2000s, he started to change his painting and also made them pixely. He uses a grid to make something very, very large. Albrecht Dürer. So Dürer is a well-known German artist, 15th century, so this 500 years ago. He was the first to create a grid panel, drawing a person more accurately. So here's a gentleman here, an artist that's drawing the person here posing. Maybe he's royalty or of the upper class. And he has a grid panel in front of him, and then he draws the panel on the paper, and that's how you get a very accurate drawing of the person in front of you. So this was, of course, before photography. When you do a grid drawing, don't make so many boxes. This is an example of what not to do here with this angel. So this is an angel statue looking down. She has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 across and 8 down. Just do 5 and 5, or even 3 and 3 is fine. Try to keep your grids big. If you keep it small, yes, you are more accurate. So the curvature of her jawline, you would understand that that goes from that square to the corner of the bottom one to a little sliver of the next one. So again, it's drawing accurately. That's why you do that. You might want to look at this PowerPoint for these 4 steps. I will copy paste them and put them in updates. Measure the photo on, like for instance, this wolf one that I showed you. Measure it, the photo, and then place the measurement on the drawing paper. You are doubling in size. So if each box is 1 by 1 inches, then your drawing paper has 2 by 2 inches of each box. Once you place your grid on your drawing paper, then you can double it or even triple it. Some people, like I have one girl, she asked if she can use the white side of what do you call it? Gift wrapping paper. Yeah, you can. You can make it huge. You can even do a mural in your bedroom. Okay, ask permission first. So then you start outlining it with a pencil. Keep it light, especially if you want to erase. Sometimes pencil is hard if it's too heavy, and sometimes erasing the grid, right? So the grid has to stay light as well. Once you erase the grid, then you're ready for shading. And what I wrote here is stick to the light source that you choose. So maybe like this picture that I showed you of the wolves, it's flash photography that was taken for this picture. So maybe what you have to do is decide, right? Decide, is it left side or is it right side? And then stick to that lighting, okay? So pay attention to lighting, pay attention to proportions and to patterns. So finally, choose any human or animal from around the world through the centuries, and you can decide on which one you want to do, okay? If I drag this down, this is also a document in that Unit 2 folder. It's titled, let me give you the title, Unit 2 Photo Examples of Statues. So these were statues that were chosen by other artists. This is what an iPad grid gives you. Okay, so I remember Jerome did this statue of a well-known public speaker. So I've had people do it on presidents. I've had people do it on Michael Jordan. He has a very famous statue. The Oscar statue, it's human. So you can go back to the antiquity. You can find really cool statues in Japan that mimic characters that you like. Pikachu, there's a Pikachu statue in Japan. Okay, this one's sideways, but it's of a bird or a crane. Okay, a tiki statue, so you can make it fun. I remember somebody did a garden gnome last trimester. Here's Michael Jordan. So this is a statue in Philadelphia because that's where he's from. Here's an angel statue, maybe part of a cemetery. Very a little spooky. So I hope this all helps you. Let me click this again. And then this one is Ava. She did such a beautiful job. Let me take that away. So she did it in chalk on black paper. You could do it on different colored paper. Notice very dramatic lighting, right? So the lighting is coming from the right side, I believe, if you're looking at it. And she did white chalk on black paper. So you can use anything you want. You can use pencil, you can use marker even for this. All right. So best of luck. I hope you do well. 12 minutes have transpired. So if you need to back up this video to see more things, then you can do that. All right.